Before we actually get into the use of the program, let's take a quick tour of the user interface screen, and I'll show you what all these objects are. To begin, I'm going to log in a user so we can see the complete screen. By logging in, the bottom of the screen populated with user Jane Doe's historical purchases in the tax year to date. When Jane logged in successfully, it loaded her state of residence, her state's general tax rate, her state's luxury tax rate, if any, which doesn't apply in the state of Massachusetts. And now let's take a look at some of the program objects. On the top of the screen, the yellow objects are just labels, information labels that describe what data goes into the field beside them. On the bottom of the screen, these information labels are in light blue, bordered by dark blue. Your data entry is done on the top of the screen, where this is where you enter new transactions. And the information fields that you'll be filling out are the white fields, and there are two basic types. There's a drop-down type field, like the vendor field. You can see some vendor names that have already been set up. There are general information fields, like the model number field and the serial number field, description field. There is a special order date field, which will only accept date values. And there are currency fields, price and tax paid. Wanted to do a calculation there, which will only accept currency values. The fields in light brown are locked fields because the user is not supposed to enter values into these fields. These are either plugged by the program, such as today's date, or they're calculated, like the tax calculation field, which is calculated based on the price of the object plus the tax rate that applies. On the bottom, you'll see mirrored the information fields from the top of the screen with the information that applies to that purchase. And it's also important to note that you can make edits on the bottom of the screen. For example, you might have intended to declare a subcategory for this purchase of jeans, which might be, we'll call it accessories. You can correct that on the bottom of the screen. Okay, and now, at long last, let's start entering some transactions into the database. Let's enter 3 typical transactions that Jane would want to enter into the database. The first will be an Amazon purchase. You note that when I started typing Amazon, the field populated because Amazon was previously defined as a vendor. And from Amazon, she is going to buy a Gillette product, and order date defaults to the current date. You can type it over the date, or you can use the date selector. Let's say that Jane went shopping on the 13th for good luck. And the category is going to be electronics. Model number is going to be We'll call it Hot Razor, and we'll give it a serial number, and the description will be Hot Razor kit. Whoops. Let's try that again. Hot Razor starter kit. Jane paid $49.99, and she checked her sales slip and sees that she was charged by Amazon $312 tax, which agrees with the tax calculation of $312, so her tax due is calculated to be $0. And her notes are going to say, gift for John. Her subcategory is going to be John's. Condition is new, and she's going to use a special location of gift. And we added that. Well, I misspelled it. I really wanted that to read gift. And now I can add the record, and you see that this purchase has dropped down onto the subscreen as a historical purchase. I used the special location of gift because that will keep this purchase from appearing on Jane's list of possessions for her home inventory because she doesn't own it. Now I'm going to jump into the next one, which is a purchase from eBay. And the brand is Sony, and the purchase date was also the 13th. I'll tee it. And the category here is also electronics. The model number is going to be WH1000 XM3, serial number. Description is going to be boy, I wish I could type. Isn't it a good thing that I'm not trying to sell you a Learn to Type course? Noise canceling Bluetooth headphones. Price on these headphones was $179.99. Now, Jane checked her invoice from eBay and saw that she was not charged a sales tax, so she still shows a balance due to the state of Massachusetts of $11.25. In her notes, Jane notes that for her, subcategory is going to be audio. The condition here is used, and that's probably the reason why Jane was not charged a sales tax. She bought them from a private seller on eBay, and they're in good condition. The location for them is in her car. That's where Jane's keeping them. Car did not exist as a defined location. I was prompted and added it, and now I'll add the transaction, and we'll see it drop below. And The third transaction is going to be at Jane's local Target store. And as we've noted, if you purchase something at retail in your state of residence, you never need to put it into the program. However, in this case, Jane will want to put it in, and we'll see why as we continue recording the details. The brand is going to be Fabergé, and let's say she also made this purchase on the 13th. She was on a roll on the 13th, was Jane. The category here is going to be bling, which we'll add. The model is going to be FE26, serial number. This may well be serialized. Description is going to be jeweled egg. Price was $2,000. And Jane notes that Target did indeed charge her $125, leaving her a net sales tax obligation to the state of Massachusetts of $0. Notes. Jane doesn't put any notes. The subcategory is going to be jewelry. Jewelry not currently defined, so we'll add it. Condition is new, and the location is going to be, I want a location of First National Safety Deposit Box, which we'll define, and now we'll add the record. And we see that it has dropped down into third place here on the list of historical transactions. And note that all three transactions defaulted for inventory valuation or insurance valuation to the purchase price. However, Jane took the Fabergé egg down to a jewelry expert and had it assessed, and it was assessed at a value of not $2,000 but $20,000. So Jane values it on her personal property list at a value of $20,000. She has a report from a professional assessor which will back up that claim that it's worth $20,000, and Jane will a little later in another video demonstrate how she attached the assessor's report to this transaction. Next, let's look at a gift transaction from both sides of the equation, from the perspective of the gift giver and then from the gift receiver. In this case, Jane Doe is going to give a gift to John Doe. And let's say Jane went back to Amazon online and decided to give John a special present of a Rolex watch. And she is giving him the Datejust 41 with a blue dial. And she is paying the price of $86.50. And Jane checks her Amazon invoice and sees that she was charged $540.63. Which is the calculated tax for the state of Massachusetts, so she has no remaining tax obligation. Notes gift for John, subcategory is going to be John's. Condition is new, and the location is going to be, again, the special location gift. And when we add the record, we'll see that the purchase has dropped out of the bottom part of the screen, the historical records. And now for valuation, Jane could change this to 0 because she doesn't own it. But in fact, because she declared it to be gift as a special location, it will be excluded from her personal inventory report in any case. And now let us, well, we don't see John. Where is he? I'm going to go in as the administrator and find out what happened to John Doe. Well, John Doe is currently inactive, so we'll activate him. We're giving you a little foretaste of administrator functions here. And we'd better move John to the state of Massachusetts. And now we'll be able to log John in. Oh, I used the wrong password. How's that? That's better. Okay, John is in. Now, John's side of this transaction as the gift recipient, he is going to use a special vendor category gift. John does not have any tax obligation because he is the recipient. But he will want to show this on his insurance valuation report, so he wants it in his program. And so he'll repeat all this information. Description. He will declare a price of 0. And subcategory is going to be John will call it watches, which is not previously defined, so we defined it as a subcategory. Condition is new. Location is going to be John will keep it in the night table when it's not on his wrist. We'll add the record and down it drops. Now for valuation purposes, John wants to declare this to be worth $86.50. As they're adults, I'm sure Jane revealed that fact to him. And he will also have a copy of the invoice available, which he will attach. We'll show that in a video to follow, and he will attach it to this gift record. Let's now record a purchase by Mr. John Q. Public, who is a resident of the state of Connecticut. I think. Oh, no, he isn't. So we're going to have to put him in Connecticut. We'll call on our administrator to do that. Again, you will find John Q. and move him to the state of Connecticut for the purposes of this demonstration. And now we will log John Q in. And John Q works in the big city, the Big Apple, and he is a patron of Saks Fifth Avenue, and he's going to buy himself a nice Christmas sweater. So the vendor Saks Fifth Avenue, previously defined. The brand is going to be Giorgio Armani, which hasn't been defined, so we will add it. We'll use today's date. Category is going to be clothing. Model number is going to be SKU. We'll make one up. Serial number, none. Description is going to be crew neck sweater with snowflake. And John's going to pay $11.95 because he's really in the holiday spirit. And now we'll see that a message has popped up stating that Connecticut's clothing purchase rule will be applied. And that the luxury tax will be applied because the price was in excess of $11.95 of $1,000. John could also have activated that by checking the luxury tax box, but in this case it's built into the rules for clothing for the state of Connecticut. Now John looks on his sales slip and sees that at point of purchase in Saks Fifth Avenue in New York, he was charged $47.80 sales tax based on the New York rate of general tax rate of 4%. That leaves John a balance to the state of Connecticut of $44.81. For notes, John will say nothing. Subcategory will be sweaters. Only John spells it this way, which we'll add. Condition is new. Location is dresser drawer number 2, which we'll add. We add the record, and there's the purchase. Down, 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 here. And we do see that John shows a tax due. He can attach the invoice. And that gives you an example of how some of the special category rules will be applied automatically by the program. We've had a preview of some of the special features of this program, the most important of which is special categories, because they fine-tune tax rates for special categories of products. In the next video, we'll take a more in-depth look at special categories. So once again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.